right right in the chat. Eleanor put it at the very top of the chat. Troy, Michigan in the house. Eleanor put it at the top. Seattle, one of my favorite cities in the entire world. Lisa, first timer. I'm so excited you're here, Lisa. Hello to Eleanor. Do not forget, everybody say hello to Eleanor. Eleanor is so wonderful. I was just bragging about her to all of my friends to say how great this is. So, this is how these classes go. If you have taken an AARP class, and I hope that you're looking at the schedule because I am telling you, welcome, Jennifer. I am telling you that AARP has so many great classes. Bloomfield, Jersey in the house. You know I love Bloomfield. You know I love Bloomfield. AARP has so many great classes. Do I think this one is the best? Of course I do, but lots of great options for you. Today, I plan on showing you a couple of easy, quick brunch recipes. And the joy here is everything is for two people. Villages back in the house. You know I love the Villages. Minnesota, you know how much I want to go. Tyler, Texas. Springfield, Missouri. Ah, I'm so excited. All right, so first thing is first. Now, if you're cooking with me, and I know most of you like to watch and then maybe go back and cook. I love it when you find me. My vibe is the empty nest kitchen. You can find me there. But we are going to do some super crispy potatoes, and we have done these before. Frances from Nebraska is here. She comes to the demos. I love Frances. So these potatoes, I went ahead, I figured nobody wants to watch me peel a potato, right? I hope I'm right on that. But what I did, Alaska. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Hey, and bonus points, yes to my PA girl, PA girls for life, but bonus points if you invite a friend to watch with you. You know how much I love that. Potatoes. I just peeled and cut the potatoes into pieces that are about the same size, right? And I have them in some nice cold water because we always start our potatoes in cold water. I'm gonna add a little bit of salt, not a ton, just a little. And I'm gonna set this back on the stove. And I don't know if you all noticed, but all of my friends who come to all of the classes, I'm in a different kitchen. I'm in Stanton, Virginia today. Isn't that great? I'm in this gorgeous, gorgeous kitchen. So for the potatoes, to make them really crispy, two-step process. And I know two steps is more than we want to do. I know, but trust me, these get so crispity crunchity. Now, while these come on, Eleanor, are we all good?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I hear, and let's make sure everybody has your microphone off. Oh, Arkansas. Oh, it's soggy in Arkansas. All right, Virgin Islands. Oh,
We've got
I love it
332 guests.
already. So great. Do you know that over 1,100 of you registered for class today? Is that not crazy? Welcome, Catherine. I'm so happy to have you here. All righty. So to do the crispy potatoes, we're going to do a two-step process where we're going to parboil them. Now, I'm just going to let them go for about 10 minutes. Set my timer. All right. I'm going to let them cook for about 10 minutes because they don't have to be totally cooked through, but we want to help soften them a little bit. I don't know if you've ever done the roasted potatoes. I like to roast little red potatoes. This is a little different. These are just Idaho's, but we want to get the outside layer a little cooked. I'll show you as we go through. But while that's doing the thing, I want to introduce you to my cappuccino chip muffins. I am visiting Stanton, Virginia. I'm so excited to be here. We're in short-term rental, and let me tell you, we brought some friends down. We're going to the American Shakespeare Theater. I'm married to an English teacher, so this is his birthday present from January. But we have a bunch of friends with us. We're in a gorgeous place. It's a dream, and the kitchen is so good too. Now, when I lived in New York City, I lived on the Upper West Side. And I would walk to the subway on 79th and Broadway every morning to catch the train to go to work. And there was a bagel shop on the corner, and then there was a little cafe a couple doors down. They had the most fantastic cappuccino chip muffins, and they were as big as your head, right? As big as your head. And I lived in New York 100 years ago. So I have been craving these, but I will say that as an empty nester, I'm cooking for two of us, right? So to make a dozen muffins is not something that I want to do all the time. All right, could you make it so we can see only Christine's two screens? Did you see that, Eleanor? Question
Yes,
Chef
I
and Cookie.
do. Just make sure that folks, if you go up to the upper right-hand corner, click on view, make sure you're in speaker mode because Christine and her second camera are both spotlighted for you folks.
Excellent. All right, so I have two questions. The first is, do we put potatoes in cold or hot water? Always cold water, right? Because if we put them in hot water, not only will the outside cook, but it's going to way overcook on us, like way overcook. So I always start them in cold water every single time. Okay. And then, hey, from California, they sound delicious. Oh, the subways. I used the subways all the time. I loved it. It's how I got around. I didn't even own a car in New York. And we still have family there. All right, tea or milk? What is the best beverage to go with cappuccino muffins? A latte or a cappuccino? Now, this place made these giant muffins. I'm going to show you how to make just four. Now, here's the thing. When you start cooking for an empty nest, it is important that you all right size what you've got in the kitchen. If you're like me, you could feed an army with no issue whatsoever. And if you say, I don't want to buy a 4 cup muffin pan, total respect on that. You can use a 12 cup, but it's important that you put about a ½ inch of water in the empty wells so that your pan doesn't warp. Okay, that's a little tip or trick for you there. So let's talk about this. And I will whip these up. I whip them up pretty frequently, if I'm being honest. I really like them. So here we go. I have got 1 cup of all-purpose flour. Now, we call that AP flour in the biz. And I've got a 1/4 cup of sugar. Welcome, welcome. Oh, the Upper West Side. That is my old neighborhood. I love the Upper West Side, Manhattan. I always will. I love it. I love it. All right, I'm gonna give that a little, it's just flour and sugar. And then you can see here, there we go. I've got my magical bowl of stuff. Now, what do I have in here? I have got some baking powder. I've got some espresso powder. Now, I like espresso powder, but you can also use instant coffee. Don't use coffee grounds. We need something that's going to melt in. So instant coffee or espresso powder and cinnamon, because I always think of the little of cinnamon that they put on top of the foam on a cappuccino. I love that. All right, parboiled potatoes. Nope. Whenever we're cooking potatoes, we start from cold. Always start from cold. Cold, cold, cold. All right, so these are my dry ingredients. I'm going to pop them in there. Some people, when they use the espresso powder, they will do, they'll put in a little water or something to make sure the espresso is all dissolved. I don't, you're welcome. I do not do that. Oh, the Finger Lakes. I'm dying to go to Finger Lakes. I have never been there. All right, now I have mini chocolate chips. You don't have to buy mini chocolate chips. You can use regular sized chocolate chips. That's totally fine. I'm using a lot because this is a muffin. All right, so I've got my cup of flour, a 1/4 cup of sugar, 1½ teaspoons of baking powder, 2 teaspoons of the espresso powder, ½ teaspoon of cinnamon. And let me tell you, you can doctor that up however you like. Just make sure your flour, your sugar, and your baking powder are the same ratio, right? If you wanted to make these muffins blueberry, leave out the cinnamon, leave out the espresso powder, maybe put in some lemon zest and put in blueberries instead of chocolate chips. Like use the basic recipe. And I am going to put in a decent pinch of salt. Now, I like to get those chips in there because the flour helps give them a little coating. All right, now here's a question. I've got a great question. Can we use almond flour? I haven't tested this recipe with almond flour. So I wish I could tell you, but I can't. We'd have to try it. Almond flour acts a little different. All right, and I have got, oh, there we go. I made sure to take the wrapper off, but I missed that part. Now I'm doing a 1/4 cup each of vegetable oil and milk. And I'm not going to say I'm lazy in the kitchen, but I am going to say I conserve my steps. If I can use a single measuring cup for that, I totally will. And I'm going to take an egg and pop it right in there. Okay? And I just give these cocoa powder. Have you ever seen those little cinnamon chips? You can get cinnamon chips. Those are yummy. I'm just going to make sure this is all mixed together. But a lot of people, fewer dishes to wash. That's it. A lot of people don't like coffee. Now, they're not my people. But you can totally skip it. Just think about keeping the things in this recipe that really matter, that aren't flavor agents, are the flour, the sugar, the salt, the baking powder, the milk, the vegetable oil, the egg. Everything else is negotiable. It's so changeable. There's a fellow, his name's Michael Ruhlman, and he has this book called Ratio, and it is all about the ratios of cooking in the kitchen. So a basic muffin is X, or a basic cake is Y, that kind of thing. I'm just going to add all of that liquid in. Now, here's the trick. Muffins are quick breads, and that means they start getting their stuff together pretty quickly. Doesn't mean they're quick to make, although most of them really are. But it means that we don't mess around, we don't wait with a lot of time here, right? Once we mix it, we bake it. And I do have my oven preheated to 350 degrees. All righty, now look, when we do our muffins or our banana bread or whatever we're making, you can totally use lower fat milk. I use 2% regularly. I just went for this one today. We just want to stir it until it's just combined. I know you've seen that 100 times, but really what that means for us is no more white streaks of flour in it. You don't want to overmix it because it becomes tough. All right. Now, I have taken a paper towel. I usually just spray it with a little nonstick spray. Welcome, Kathy Sweet. I know you. But I just wiped it with paper towel that had some vegetable oil on it. Easy breezy. And then I'm going to fill it. Now, I want them all to be about the same. Usually I have a portion scoop. Portion scoops are a big thing in a professional bakery, right? And I have a whole bunch at home. If you're into making cakes or cookies, you probably have one. They're the way you make sure everything is always the same. Look at this. So good. Alrighty. And now I'm just gonna, let's make sure I get all of this. Good to the last drop. Oh, that's a good thing to say because we're doing something coffee-like. Alrighty. Oops. All right, so let's try to make all of these folks even. My friends are excited about coming back for cappuccino chip muffins. Oops, okay. Just gonna rinse that real quick. There we go. Okay. How are we doing? The recipe is at the very top of the chat, and you should have gotten an email that has the recipe, so you should be able to print it. Okay, so there we go. Now, I'm just going to take those little reserve chips, and pop them on the top. All righty. Because this was the thing about these muffins that I would get at this place. They had so many mini chips and they used the mini chips there, which is why. And I went back years ago and they had closed. So the place isn't there anymore. It was so funny. I would always stop at the newsstand, get a copy of New York Newsday, do the whole thing. Yes, there was an email. I do use paper cupcake liners, but truthfully, a lot of the time I skip them. I just make sure I'm well greased. So I'm going to pop this in my 350 oven. There it is. And let's set a timer. We're here. I need somebody to set a timer for me, right? All right. So I'm setting the timer for 15 minutes because you can always add time, but you can't take it away, right? And this says 17 to 18. So we're in good shape there. All right, let's take a second for questions. Recipe says 400. 400 it is. Muffins are usually always 400. Sorry, I got excited this morning. Good morning. Took me a bit to get in. Well, Kathy, I'm happy you're here. Yeah, we have to do the passcode now just to keep everything safe. The muffin pan, the large, it is a regular sized muffin pan. It is just a 4-well versus a 12. And I will tell you, I really like smaller things. This is a quarter sheet pan, and it is what I use all the time. All right, what kind of oil? I use vegetable oil. Now, I know there's a whole thing about seed oils, all of this stuff. If I'm gonna be totally honest, I haven't taken a deep dive into that. I feel like there's always a bad guy. Do you know what I mean? Like I feel like there's always a bad guy recipe or a bad guy ingredient. I'm gonna take a little bit of oil and put it on this baking sheet. This is for these crispy potatoes. And we are bouncing around. Okay. Sylvia. Hi, Sylvia. All right. Almond milk or soy milk? Give it a try. Give it a try. Okay. What ingredients needed to keep when changing muffin recipes? All right. So think about the basics. Think about something that gives you flavor versus something that is, I would say structural, right? So our flour, our sugar, our baking powder, and salt are structural. We want those. Then our milk, our oil, and our egg. And a lot of times what happens when you're making recipes smaller, especially a baking recipe, you will see that you're stuck with the egg problem, where if you break it down, you'll get to a point where you need half an egg. Can you do half an egg? Of course you can. You can take it and beat it and then weigh it. And I'm trying to use recipes or create recipes that use the whole egg. Hello, Alabama. Hi, Janie. Where do you get a 4-cup muffin pan? Any of the stores now online. You can order it online. If you go to my website, Empty Nest Kitchen, I have a free guide that you can get on the best tools for the Empty Nest Kitchen, and I've got it in there. But I really think you can find one without too much difficulty. All right. Oh, an egg substitute is great, especially if I know eggs. Last month, we had somebody from Connecticut, and I'm so sorry I forget your name, but we had somebody from Connecticut who had just paid, I think, $19 for a dozen eggs. Now, it's not so bad right now. Well, all right, I'm going to take this pan and pop it in the oven so that it starts to get nice and hot for us. Okay, you use parchment paper, then oil on top of that. Okay. Baking powder, a half a tablespoon is 1.5 teaspoons. Oh, thankful for a neighbor with chickens. Oh my gosh. I hope you're returning the favor. Mary. I hope you're making something yummy, right? Good. That's what it's all about, right? Our friend, we're away this weekend, as I had said, and our friend makes. He's just a great cook. He's a really great cook, and he made the most spectacular breakfast for us today. I'm telling you, I was telling Eleanor, it was an utter feast. It was crazy. All right, so I am going to grab my eggies here, just as I'm waiting for those potatoes. I'm just gonna give them another couple of minutes. And I'm gonna take, ooh, that was a chicken that lifted weights, man. That was a firm, thick shell. All right. Now, this would be a feast for y'all. Muffins and potatoes and eggs. That's my kind of meal. All right. And I'm just gonna give this. I love to do omelets during the summer when I've got all the fresh herbs. So I just love fresh herbs. I just love them. And back at the beginning of March, I could just see the chives. Like they do that little hopeful. They're the first thing that always comes out. And they're perennial. So they will keep coming for you, which I think is really great. But they are so gorgeous right now. I brought chives from my yard because they were so darn pretty. But we're going to keep things easy, right? You don't have to make an omelet, but I love to do an omelet with some fresh ricotta in it and the fresh chives, keeping it very, very simple. Really simple. When the herbs are good, a little pinch of salt. That was about a quarter teaspoon. And I'm going to do a little pepper. All right. And I am so sorry I did not catch your name. Hi, Joanne. I did not catch your name when you told me to turn my oven to 400, but this is for you. Thank you so much. All right. So that's looking good. Oh, we are doing great today. I'm going to set that aside because I am ready here to drain these taters. Now, this is the trick, right? Can she drain them without burning herself? I'm off on the side. Sorry, folks. Hold on, please. Okay. Good. Now, I'm going to move them here. Let's move my water up there. And you all should see this. This is so funny. I have a pot with a towel, with another pot, with the stand for the iPad on it. Is that hilarious? All right. So now here's part of the deal. Here's part of what we're doing here. We are going to, I'm going to use this guy. We are going to take our potatoes and kind of dry them out a little bit. This is important because um, when you're trying to make something crispy, water is your enemy, right? Because what happens with water when we've got water in there? My emptynestkitchen.com. All right. When you've got water and things, it's going to create steam. And steamed things, I mean, I would rather have crispy asparagus over steamed asparagus any day of the week. Thank you very much. So what we do, and I do this with mashed potatoes too, although my mashed potatoes are cooked further than these are. I like, excuse me, I like to dry them out a little in the pan. So I drain them, I put them in, I turn the heat back on, and I just give them a little love, right? Ooh, woohoo! Maybe they'll fly out on you, maybe they won't. Who knows? Just to make them nice and dry. Now, I am going to bump the temperature of the oven up once those gorgeous muffins come out. But for right now, let's find a little bit of vegetable oil. Okay, I've got a little bit here. I'm going to add just a little bit, about a tablespoon. Ooh, sizzle, sizzle. All right. And we're just going to stir that around. Now, I do like to add a little salt here. What are the best potatoes for crispiness? I like the Idahos or the russets. So I do. I like them. Okay. Yeah, there we go. We're getting somewhere. Oh, it smells good and potatoy. All right, now this will probably sizzle too. This one's a little damp. So is that one. Where is it? Okay, here we go. Now, woo! And let me tell you, those muffins are looking fly already. Alrighty, so now I've got hot oil and a hot pan and hot potatoes. Can you hear it? Can y'all hear that? Did I just burn myself? Maybe just a little. It's like a rite of passage in the kitchen. Oh, good. There we go. Now, I don't love I love a roasted red potato in the summer. I do love that. But I really, for this dish, I like the Idahos or the Russets. They're the best. I've used Golds if that's what I have on hand. But we want to try to give the potatoes a little breathing room. Breathing room is good, right? Because the same thing again, if they're knocked up against each other, what did you cut? I did. Here, let me show you. Look at my fancy pan right here. So are they perfect cubes? They're definitely not. They're definitely not, but they're good. They're good enough for us. All right. And I'm going to go right in there. How many whole potatoes is it? That was 2 potatoes. I did peel the skin. You don't have to. It's your choice. Can you do the same thing using air fryer? All right. I knew we were going to get an air fryer question. You are so good, Sharon. Thank you. Here's the thing. To make these potatoes really crispy, we've got to use that oil. We've got to use a little bit of oil. We have to. We're not using a ton. We're not deep frying these. But in an air fryer, my air fryer, which I love, has 2 racks, 2 wire racks. And the way that an air fryer is working, it's like a hyped up convection oven. So you've got the air circulating. And I will say, if you were an empty nester, if you're cooking for 1 or 2 people, an air fryer, I kid you not, the kind with shelves, not the kind with the basket, is perfect for you. You can do a whole meal in an air fryer really easily. I just taught a class for Johns Hopkins, and I took my air fryer in, and they lost their minds. And I swear they were trying to order the air fryer, and I had the name covered up and everything. It was so funny. But with this, you're going to get a different result. You can toss the potatoes in a bit of oil after you par cook them and then put them in the air fryer, but it's still going to be a little different than having that bit of oil on the pan. I hope that makes sense. I would keep everything the same if I was keeping the skin on. I would. And I know that's extra roughage. We all need our roughage, right? We all need that fire. Adjustments if you make the potatoes the night before. Par cook them, chill them. And when I say chill them, I don't mean take the hot potatoes and throw them in the fridge. We don't do that. That's a food safety no-no. But you could take your potatoes, you could do the par cooking part night before, put them on a tray, put them on a sheet pan, put that on a cooling rack, let them get cool, wrap them up, throw them in the fridge. And then the next day, you can have that nice hot oven going for you. Look at that. Keep those questions coming. That was Anne. Anne, you've been here before, you sweet sweetie. Thank you so much. All right. I love all these. Maybe scroll, because when I provide the recipes and the shopping list, I put it in a single document. All right, can the leftover potatoes be reheated? Absolutely. That's where that air fryer comes in. How long is the par cooking? 10 to 12 minutes for this. 10 to 12 minutes. I hate when I get the brunch vibe and I'm like, oh, I'm going to make hash browns. It just takes too long. If you don't do a par cook on them, it just takes too long. It does. Will they get crispy at 400? They will. We're going to bump the oven up to 450 when I pull the muffins out. But for right now, using this oven, it's going to be totally okay. But don't worry, I am definitely bumping that oven up. I'm all over that. Thank you for bringing that up. All right. Any other questions before I go on? I want to make sure. Hello, Sue. I'm so happy you're here. All right. Oh, ooh, food safety no-no. Food safety no-no is don't ever put hot food in your fridge or your freezer because you are not cooling the food, you're heating up the fridge, heating up the freezer. So when I worked as a personal chef 100 years ago, I would always have the cooling racks with me. And I would put the containers of the food. I would go in someone's house. I'd make them 10 nights worth of dinners. So if I was doing like a soup or stew or something like that, I would have it in the container. I would have it on a cooling rack so the air can circulate the whole way around, right? If you put it flat on a counter, it's going to trap the air in the bottom. It's going to, like on the bottom of the container, it's not going to have anywhere to go. So that is something I always am sure to do. All right, so always wait until, yes, always wait until hot food is cooled down. Just don't put hot things in. Really, that is truly the food safety. Serve safe is what we get certified in. When you're a professional cook, you get Serve Safe certified, and that is going through all the food safety stuff, all of it, the temperatures that things cook to, all that good stuff. Now, let's take a look. Holy cow, those look fantastic. I'm gonna give them like 2 more minutes. All right, help me remember 2 minutes. What do you think of using these potatoes with corned beef and cabbage? Sure, that sounds terrific. But I love that. Yeah, reheating in an air fryer is fantastic. Now, next month, we've got an awesome class for everybody. So I was thinking Mother's Day when I was coming up with the menu, and I do a lot of Mediterranean diet cooking as well. So we are going to do it's a farro dish. And I know some of you are like, farro, I don't know what, but I love farro. It is so good for you. It is a whole grain. It's got lots of fiber. It's got lots of staying power. We love it, love it, love it. Hello, Annette. It's with arugula and roasted tomatoes and this fabulous vinaigrette. I think we're going to grill some shrimp. It's going to be fantastic. And I'm going to do that with a berry trifle. So I'm going to do individual little berry trifles. Oh, good. And I think that's May 3rd. Eleanor, is that May 3rd?
Correct. Saturday, yeah. May 3rd. Yep.
Saturday, May
Just
3rd.
Posted the link in the chat for folks to
She's so good. She's so good. We love that. So I wanted to show you a couple of things. And I was thinking we might do some grilling. Because the season is coming. Now, I know I live in Maryland, and it's taken us a minute to get here, but I do love the grilling. All right, let's check this out. You ready? I feel like going, y'all ready for this? Do, 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 do. All right, hang on a second. Let's turn this oven up to 450, baby. And here we go. Look at these. Oh my gosh, I wish y'all could smell this. They smell so good. Oh, can you see these? Here they are. Now, oh, I'm even getting little baby chocolate chips all over everything. How long do you bake the potato? My smell-o-vision, Marianne. They really are good. And I will tell you, when I started making this, I always went too light on the espresso powder because I didn't want to go too hard on it. And a lot of times, if my son is at the house, I will make the batch and leave the espresso powder out. I'll put 2 in, then I'll add the espresso powder and make my 2. So that goes so great. And the portions on this is such a good size because you get these big muffins. Now they're not gigantic, but it's nice. They look really good. And I think you got to eat muffins the same day you make them. Okay, so baked goods, I think it's $190. Now, we have a great grocery store chain near us, but I will tell you, even if you go to one that's kind of half, you should be able to find espresso powder in the coffee section or sometimes they even have it in the baking section. And don't worry, I mean it, don't worry if you are, I'm going to move these to the side. Don't worry if you use instant coffee. I have some instant coffee that I use just for recipes. All right, now. Oh yeah, wonderful. Theirs is good. Do you have any? I can get you nutritional info, but I don't think these muffins are too bad, right? You gotta think that what we've got here. I always take, how many servings and kind of go, okay, is there a tablespoon of this and that? Is there a tablespoon of that? And kind of figure it from there. But I think these muffins are in the upper 200s. All right. Now, look at these. Look at these gorgeous chives. Are they not beautiful? Oh, now, if you guys want to pretend you're Michelin starred chefs, here's what you're going to do. You're going to take a paper towel, just like this. And I see a blossom in there. Does anyone have a rec for a small air fryer brand? Sometimes I post those on my Facebook page or something like that. So we can take this and hold them together in a nice, neat package. So that when we're ready to go here, we can just take it and they'll all hold together and you can get beautiful little chives. Now, I am a chive girly. Can you use artificial sweetener for the, okay, what a great question. Now I'll show you doing it without that. It just get a little messier. So I got certified as a culinary medicine professional last summer. I did this whole course through George Washington. It's not nearly as easy doing this way. Through George Washington University, the whole thing. It was fantastic. But one of the lessons we did was diabetes, working with diabetes, and menus and all of that. And we made 20 different batches of cookies. And each cookie, we used the same basic recipe. And I know the recipe calls for 2 tablespoons of butter. We're going light here. That's maybe a teaspoon. Each cookie had a different sweetener to it. And the goal of the lesson was to look at the cookies and to see how would it change as we changed not only flavor, but structure. So I remember I made the regular recipe and then I did one with 50% sugar. Maybe I did 75%. Somebody did one with 50, somebody did one with 25. We used sugar alcohols. We used different brands of sweeteners. We did all these different things. And let me tell you, there are some sweeteners that you can get that'll be 1 for 1. Like it'll say for baking and if you use a cup of sugar, you use a cup of it. It has like a filler in it to make it easier for you to figure out. Because those artificial sweeteners are crazy sweet compared to regular sugar. They were crazy. All right. Oh, thanks. I worked really hard on that. All righty. So scissors for chives. Thank you for liking my tip for the chives. The extra set aside chocolate chips went on the top. Can't have chocolate. Yeah, try it. Butterscotch and coffee? That sounds fantastic. Sure, if you're a coffee lover, right? You're going to do what you love. All right, now let me get some ricotta out. Now, I do love to buy the posh ricotta, like the fancy, or if I have a whole bunch of milk. Eleanor, I think we made ricotta cheese in a class.
Yes.
Yeah, because it's so easy. I just had a neighbor say, hey, can you use an extra gallon of milk? I'm traveling for work this week. I was like, heck yeah, cheese. All right. So I'm just going to take my eggs and go right in. Now, you get to determine, oh, y'all can't smell it, but the butter smells marvelous. Right? You can do this any number of ways. You want to use a muffin pan, use a muffin pan, right? You can totally, if you're into spinach, you want to add spinach to this. Delicious. I try to give you things that are adaptable. There we go. And I'm just moving around, and I can see I'm even moving a little fast for my own taste here. I like this to go slowly. Have you ever watched Wolfgang Puck or Daniel Blue do scramble an egg? Oh my gosh, it's like heaven. My dad used to make omelets. A lot of times he would make an omelet for himself and not for us. He would get it all set up. Now, I'm going to take a little bit of my chives and sprinkle it in here. And then I'm just going to take little bits of ricotta and put them in. And if you're not, you can do fewer. You can see you don't have to measure a thing in this recipe, right? But I'd like to get this all in here. There's something about the chives and the ricotta. I make a lot of crepes in the spring too, and fill them with ricotta and chives. To me, it's just the perfect little thing. And those chives smell so good. Even if you do it in a pot, plant yourself some chives. Do it. Do it, do it, do it. All right, look at this. Now, we could flip it like that, but I'm just gonna get in and give it a little love. I'm not worried about keeping the blobbies blobbed, right? Let's just get it in there. You can break it up. You can make it slower. I'm going for ultimate creaminess. Is that an electric? Yes, yes, yes. This is an induction burner. This is a little induction burner. I bought it at a big box store, at a warehouse store years ago, and I use it for all of my cooking classes so that I've got a burner right in front. Oh, look at that. And don't try to be too precious unless that's your vibe. Be who you are. There we go. Oh, look at that. Now, I always save chives for a little at the end. Oh, so good. Good. Can you use cottage cheese? Yes, and somebody just said cottage cheese is fantastic. I'm not a huge fan, but cottage cheese is awesome for this. It's so good. Yeah, and garlic powder. I like how you think. I like how you think. All right, so I'm going to take this. I'm going to pop that right there. And I'm going to do a little bit. I'm just going to take a little bit of this and set it on the side. Oh, now always save some of your chives. Always save some of those for your garnish, right? Always. Can you see that? I always like to taste them too to see if they need that sprinkle of salt. Oh, farmer's cheese. Sure. How about goat? How about goat? If you're willing to go cheddar and feta, game on. Oh, I think. Oh, that's the timer. Oh, great. All right, let's take a look at these potatoes. Woo! You always got to make sure that there we go. You got to make sure that when you open the oven, you don't look directly in it. If any of the ladies out there, you would know that, especially if you wear mascara, it just gets you. It gets you. It melts it on your face, on your lashes. I've done that so many times. And these aren't sticking at all. I give them a little shimmy shake, spread them out a little. There we go. All right. Perfect. Well, I think I'm going to hit these with chives too. I just love the darn chives so much. Oh, so good. All righty. Terrific instructions and tips. Oh, good. Yes, there will be a recording. So, Eleanor, you've not met Eleanor yet, but let me tell you, Eleanor is a dream. and she will make sure that Eleanor, does this go on the YouTube page?
It does, but the link is also provided in the post-event email.
Come on. You're so good. So y'all are going to be set.
Watch this
All
as
right, now
many
let's,
times as I'd like.
yeah. God forbid. God forbid. All righty. Now, I don't think I greased these well enough. So we're going to give them a little help. We're going to give them a little, ooh, I'm going to use a fish knife. Do y'all know that that's what this is? This is a fish knife because of the little and the little right there. Okay. And my pan is cool enough that I can handle it. We're just going to get in on the side. Give a little love. I've got chocolate chippies everywhere. Oh, they're so good. Oh, la la, la la. There we go. Look how good that muffin is. Oh, this is great. And our dinner reservation isn't until 7:30 tonight. So, all right. AARP Maryland. And again, I'm not saying AARP Maryland is the best AARP, but I also am. What a lovely meal. Oh, good. Oh, thank you. Please finish your story about using. Oh, thank you. My goodness. So we used sugar alcohol, sugar substitutes. Uh, there's a brand that comes in a pink packet. We used that. They were inedible. Um, many of the things, many of the sugar substitutes were completely inedible. We had better luck by reducing the sugar. Now, there's something you really need to think about when you're talking about this. If you are perhaps diabetic, then you have to make it work, right? You have to figure out how it's going to work for you. So you can't, I'm not giving any medical advice. I'm talking to you purely about how they baked. Sugar also adds a browning element to baked goods. So the sugar cookie, it was all sugar cookie recipe. The sugar cookie recipe that had 75% of the sugar still browned really nicely. And truthfully, it tasted about the same. Hey, Barb, welcome aboard. It tasted about the same. The um, the one with 50% was still a pretty good cookie, but it was definitely blonder. Once we got down to 25%, it just wasn't working for us. The sugar alcohols, like these because they end with atol at the end, like erythritol and things of those nature. We didn't like those at all in the baked goods. So you will have to, if it is a medical issue, you will have to figure out what works best for you there. But in all of our cookies, seriously, it was 20 different cookies because there were 10 of us and we each did two. Many of them were inedible. So you just gotta, you're going to have to look up low sugar recipes. And I will tell you, I think that the American Diabetes Association actually has a completely fantastic website. And I know diabetes is not just about sugar, it's also a lot about the amount of carbohydrates and all of those things that you're eating. My husband is pre-diabetic, so we are always watching all of that. He watches his carbs. And ladies, you know how this goes. He watches his carbs for 2 weeks and he seriously dropped like 8 pounds. And I say watch, I don't mean eliminate. And I'm going, what? So vegan chips are delicious too. Oh yeah, there are many. There are many. So keto offers, yeah, keto can be good. Monk fruit was one that worked really well, actually. Monk fruit was a great one. Thanks for that reminder. I don't think we used coconut sugar at all to dirty your face after eating these muffins. It is, but I like to do things with gusto, right? I like to do things with a bit of zip in my life. So, excellent. All right. What other questions do we have? And I can't answer you about coconut sugar other than to tell you I love it. Oh, thank you so much. I'm so excited. I'll see you next month too, Stacy. Or excuse me, Marianne. And you guys have to know this is like 2-point type for your name, so I apologize. I did do a little bit of salt and pepper on the potatoes. I'll do more when they come out. Okay, the potatoes, after you do the par cook, 20 minutes, 20 minutes. All right, sure, you can use canola oil. I think canola oil is an import mostly from Canada. It comes from the rapeseed plant. It was canola was because that obviously it's a terrible name for a plant. No, wet ingredients are also structural for our muffins. Thank you so much. For our muffins, to make the basic muffin, when I first started learning how to cook, I made something called sweet muffins out of my mom's Betty Crocker cookbook, right? And they were just called sweet muffins. That's all there was to it. It was like the first thing I cooked on my own. It would have been this recipe without any flavoring ingredients. There was no vanilla in it. There was no coffee in it. There's no cinnamon in it. Nothing like that. So flour, sugar, baking powder, salt, a fat. Now you could change your fat if you don't want to use vegetable oil. You could use butter. You could totally do that. You could use avocado oil. You could change that. Milk and an egg. Those are our basic ingredients that give us a muffin. Everything else gives us the type of muffin. Can you do minced garlic? Okay, I do not recommend the minced garlic until the very end because you've got a 450-degree oven, which is a hot oven. Okay, so if you put minced garlic in, it is going to burn like that. It won't work. But if you pull them out of the oven, they're hot. You give them a minute to cool off, or you put them in a bowl, and then you sprinkle it with some minced garlic, and you can also use some freshly minced Italian parsley. That's called a persillade. You mix together on those hot potatoes, fabulous, but don't put it in the oven. The heat from the potatoes will be enough to get a lot of flavor out of that garlic. Stevia is working for you. We did do stevia. Stevia was okay. Oh, who's that? Lisa. Oh, Lisa, I'm so glad. All right, Lisa, listen, before you go, this is the deal. Every month, I challenge folks to try to get a friend to come over. Have orange juice, have a mimosa, have a cup of coffee or a cappuccino, but invite a friend over to watch. I think it's a good time. All right, we have many more ingredients. Yes, oh my gosh, 50, 60 years ago. Yeah, 45 years ago, more than. Let's put minced garlic on pizza. Oh, yeah. We need to hang out, Marianne. We need to hang out. Love it. We do. Olive oil. Okay, I would say if you're using olive oil for the muffins, you got to be careful. And I would say you don't want to use a really flavorful olive oil. I don't think olive oil imparts nicely into baked good a lot of times. Unless you're making, I've done an olive oil cake, and the whole purpose of the cake is to showcase olive oil, but olive oil for baking can be a little tricky. Oh my gosh, that's so nice. Who was that? Oh, she disappeared. Stop. Oh, thank you. I found I need the stevia 3 times the stevia. Wow. Avocado oil, great. It's nice, basic. Now you're hungry. That's my whole gig. I'm trying to make it so that Eleanor will come and do a class with me at my house. I think that would be really fun. All right, let me pull these out real quick. We'll see where they are. Oh, they still need a few minutes, but that's okay because I know we're getting to the end. All right, so I would stir these. I would put them back in the oven for a few more minutes. And you should always take one out and see, oh, perfectly cooked. Okay, but I want it really crispy, so I would throw it back in. Can't see the info. You sign up for the email list and it'll come right to you. All right, so I'm just gonna put some of these on here just to show you. Oh, look at that. Oh, look at that. Look at that guy. I'll do a little of that, and then I'll do a little pinch of salt just for my cardiologist. I'll do a little pinch of chives just for me. And that is that. All right? There it is. There it is. Looky, looky. Oh, I'm so glad you liked it. All right, so May 3rd, 11 a.m. Eastern, Alaska, Hawaii, Virgin Islands, and all of you folks in between. I am so delighted that y'all took the time to come here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love your questions. So good. And